Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrac and Kole, hosted by two nationally published Atlanta interior designers, Joann Kandrac and Kelly Kole. These energetic women are also world travelers, charity givers, and bloggers with a wealth of information to share and stories to tell about the interior design world. Okay, now just a warning, this is going to be fun and not too serious. After all, they still do have an interior design business running at full speed.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Joann.
And this is Inside Design with Kandrac and Kole.
So this is our very first podcast, and we're going to go ahead and give you a little bit of insight into our office. We're located in Kennesaw, Georgia, a suburb of Atlanta. We have a book and fabric library here, all our samples, a large TV in our conference room where we present to our clients. Our staff consists of Kelly and myself, who are the owners and principal designers. Amy is our office manager, and Lisa's our part-time administrative assistant. These two girls are amazing. We couldn't do all that we do here without them.
Well, that's for sure. And so we are a full-service interior design firm. We have been together for 12 and a half years. We concentrate mostly on residential, but we do probably about 25% commercial now, right, Joann? Because we're doing we're doing a lot of multifamily luxury apartment communities. So when I say full service, that means we are working on everything from remodels, new construction. We are doing interiors from A through Z, meaning furniture, lighting, rugs, accessories, art, you name it, it's coming out of our designs in our office. So we've been really blessed. We do obviously the bulk of our work in Atlanta, but we have projects coming from Chicago to New York, and we are currently working on, we finished up a beach house in the Hamptons just recently, and now we're so excited to be working in Hilton Head and Kiowa. So we really are kind of branching out over the last couple years. And what's really allowed us to do that is we've spent a lot of time and effort building relationships with manufacturers and custom artisans so that we are ordering everything out of our office. And it's really given us a lot of freedom to be able to design for a multitude of tastes and client lifestyles. So you can see a lot of our, a good bit of our portfolio on our website. If you want to check that out while you're listening to us, it's www.kandrac-kole.com, and you spell that KANDRAC-KOLE. And from there, you'll see our portfolio. We've been blogging since 2009, so you'll see a lot of the topics that we're going to be talking about on the show on our blog. And we're really heavy on Facebook and Instagram. So if you follow the hashtag Follow the Fun on Instagram, you'll find us. And we are on social media all day, every day. So it's a way to just keep up with us. So that's kind of our life here in Atlanta in a nutshell. And Joann's going to kind of give you some background on us as people.
Well, we're both Northerners. I grew up in Cleveland. I was born to Sicilian parents, so I'm a first-generation American. After high school, I started working as administrative assistant for high-level executives, attorneys, kind of office kind of work. And then my husband got transferred to Atlanta. So here we came to Atlanta, and within a few months after us moving in, a tornado completely destroyed our house. So at the time, I had a 2-year-old and a 4-day-old baby, if you can believe that or not.
Oh my gosh.
We lived in temporary housing for about 6 months while our house was rebuilt, and I had to refurnish the entire house. Luckily, I was working part-time at a home decor and furnishing store doing merchandising and buying. It worked out great while I was raising my kids. I had always had a passion for design, but I never thought I could make a career out of it. So while working there, I met Kelly, and she can tell you a little bit more about herself and how we ended up connecting.
So I grew up in Princeton, New Jersey, and I flew the coop and went to the University of Richmond, decided that the South was definitely for me. And I started in multifamily, which is funny that our life has come full circle and now we do a lot of design for multifamily. But I started as a leasing consultant at typical luxury apartment community, worked my way up to vice president. And then shortly after 9/11, I was unexpectedly let go, and it was devastating. But, there's a silver lining in everything, and God has a plan for us. And I think that it was at a time of my life where I was I was just thinking a lot about life, and 9/11 really affected me emotionally. And so it's actually a good time, because I decided to take that leap of faith, and I thankfully have a very supportive husband. And I'm like, honey, I'm not going back into property management. I can't do it. And I'm going to go back to school, and I'm going to start over. And so I left that 6-figure salary behind, and I went to work, thankfully, at the showroom that Joann was working at. And I was working in the fabric department. And so I would watch I'd be at the fabric counter watching everybody all day, and I see Joann coming and going. She's merchandising the whole store, making it so nice. And so we got to be friends. And one day, another designer came into the store and talked to the owner about doing a showroom. And I just happened to be, we have lots of karma stories to tell you, but this is one of the very beginning ones. I happened to be up at the register when she walked in, and the owner, she was soliciting this show house that she wanted to do. And the owner was like, I don't know. And I was like, oh no, we can do it. Joann and I can do it. We can do this. I didn't even ask her first. And so we jumped into this show house representing the store in Governor's Town Club in Ackworth, kind of up the street here. And we had a total blast doing it. We just got along great.
I was like, I kind of like her.
Yeah.
She works hard like I do. We had a really good time, and it was just like we clicked.
Yes, it was seamless. So we thought, you know what? I've been working here for 4 years by now. Joann had been there for
13.
Yeah, and we were like, we're out of here. So we literally went and hung up a shingle like the next week. And that was August of 2005. And so it was really just meant to be. And a lot of people ask us, how did you get together? How did you meet? I wish I had a partner. Partners are so hard to find. And it really just was, we trusted each other. I think it was a karma kind of thing. Our husbands are very much the same. Our lifestyles are the same. We didn't have any baggage. We didn't have any skeletons. We just thought it would be a good
fit.
A good fit. So there you go. That's the story that everybody wants to know. So here we are. We're 12 and a half years later. We've been steady Eddies, like Joann said. Busy, busy, busy. We've been blessed that the recession did not kick us in the hiney. We really worked hard through it and turned lemons into lemonade during that time. And so we've kind of come to this place where we wanted to do something different. We're designing all over. We're having a great time. We travel. We are involved in a ton of charities. Everything's going great, but we're like,
something's missing.
What should we do?
I don't know if that's the word bored, but we are always trying to educate ourselves. We go to so many industry events, and then something had come up. A designer that we know, Kelly Ellis, she's out of LA. She's a great friend. She's a coach. She's a celebrity designer. And she put together this design mastermind, which consisted of 20 other designers. And we were there to talk about licensing product, branding, social media, for people who were kind of just stuck or just looking for the next thing. Everybody's there for, to discuss a dilemma or a challenge. And then the group was there to kind of help them. So here's Kelly and I. It's our turn to sit up in the hot seat to, talk about our problem or what we were having issues with. And it was weird because we said, we don't really know what our problem is. We're successful designers. We have steady work. We have great clients. We've been so lucky that we've been featured in several publications. We're just feel like something's missing. So the consensus of the group after, asking us a lot of questions was that we definitely need to capitalize on our successful partnership. Like Kelly said, a lot of people can't figure out how to do that. And in our business, you can get kind of lonely. It's nice to have somebody to bounce things off of and all that. And they also said that they could totally see us teaching or speaking publicly about what we've learned and our experience and knowledge that we've gained over these past 12 years. New designers trying to figure out how to run their office, or people trying to figure out how to navigate the design world, what we use for our software. There's just so many things that we didn't realize over these years that we have that we can share. So we left that event, and Kelly will tell you what happened next.
Well, yeah, we're like, okay, everybody, that's awesome advice.
Thanks.
We've heard that many times. We're kind of psyched that everybody feels that way about us, but oh God, like, what do we do? Like, I don't know how to write a book, and I don't know how to start speaking. So there was a guy at the Design Mastermind. His name is Phil Palin, and we have to give a great big shout out to him because he was there. And Phil, you got to look him up. It's Phil Palin, Pallen. He is he's got this PR agency, and he handles content production and branding and all this cool stuff for companies around the globe. And he offered to do a brand audit for us. And what that was he basically interviewed us for several hours. He looked at all of our social media and our website, and he kind of picked us apart and researched and dug around, and then we got back together, and he kind of gave us this
like 60-page
PowerPoint of what we should be doing. We're like, oh God. But the one thing that stuck out to us that he said, no, I don't tell my clients this very often, but you guys you got this different dynamic going on. You really should do a podcast. You have a lot to share, and people love to listen to you because you're so dynamic. And this is really my biggest recommendation for you. And we're like, oh God, Phil, I mean, that's awesome, but how? And he's like, well, I've got some people. And we're like, okay, well, let us chew on that, because chatting is easy and we can do that, but making it happen is a whole nother ball of wax.
Yeah, and we've been on a couple of different podcasts, and we really weren't very nervous, or we thought we could probably do it, but I surely don't understand this technical aspect. I mean, you've got to know about headphones, and we didn't even really know where to begin. And he kind of said, look around, find some people who are kind of new in the industry and whatever. And we really just didn't really know where to take it from there. So we were really excited in the beginning, and then we
fizzled a little bit. We didn't know how to take it.
So here we are. We get back to work. We're doing our thing.
And it had literally only been, a week? 2 weeks?
2 weeks, maybe. And so this is where the bizarre karma came in, and literally why you're listening to us right now, because this was such a bizarre thing that happened. So let's go back about 10 years ago when Kelly and I first started our business. We went into this group called Ladies Who Launch. And it was an entrepreneurial group of women who were starting businesses. It was kind of an incubator, almost a little bit like what we did at that Design Mastermind. So everybody was there talking about this business they wanted to start, and the social media wasn't really huge. It was like 10, 11 years ago. So it was kind of different to talk to different people about what they needed to do. And so the girl who was kind of running that at the time, her name was Tracy Long. So it was a great head start for us because we got some great information from a lot of the other people there, a lot of smart business women. And
who we still keep in touch with.
Yeah, we still keep in touch with a couple of them. And so Tracy, we had stayed on Facebook, but really didn't have a lot of, conversations or connections. So we tell you we get back from Vegas on the mastermind. It's about 2 weeks later, and I get this pop-up little Facebook message. And it says, "Hey, lady, I'm seeing all of yours and Kelly's amazing success. I can't believe it's been 10 years. I wanted to reach out and throw an idea your way. I think you and Kelly would do an amazing podcast." She then went on to explain how her company, which is called Produce Your Podcast, produces them from start to finish.
I have total goosebumps still.
Literally, I couldn't. I said, I was sitting at my desk. Kelly's office is right next to me. And I'm like, "Kelly, you're going to die." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Come over here and read this message." So anyway, we freaked out and we said, how could this possibly be? So we then set up a phone call with her. And
And here we are.
Here we are. And she's done an amazing job. They have taken care of all the technical stuff for us. And
this is way more work than I ever thought it was going to be.
Show notes. We didn't know about show notes. We didn't know about all this kind of stuff. But we've got the technical aspect down. We sure hope that it's taping right now. And I think it's going to be really fun. We feel like we have a lot to offer. We're not going to be interviewing other designers like a lot of podcasts do. Ours will be a little bit different.
So I think the point of this, and you're going to hear us talk a lot about this, but we want to tell you kind of why our podcast is going to be different, like Joann said. But I think, let me backtrack on that just a second. And I think, we've just kind of gone through our backgrounds and how we got into that show house, and then how we kind of jumped into Kandrac and Kole, and then we stepped out and we went to this design mastermind. And hopefully you're seeing this trend here that Joann and I are fearless, and we feel like you are never going to move forward unless you're doing something that you're really afraid of. And that's when the adrenaline comes in. And I really think that's when we're on our best, we're our best selves, when we're really stepping out and trying to be the best we can be. And we have said yes to so many things that were so scary. And then as these seeds get planted, after all these things we've done and that really maybe at the time didn't mean anything, then all of a sudden
comes full circle.
These stars start to align. I mean, how freaking bizarre that Tracy sent us this Facebook message, but Phil had already planted the seed, but Kelly's the one that made it all come together in Vegas. And so I think that we're going to talk about that a lot in our upcoming shows, and you'll kind of just see it in our travels and in our charity work in Guatemala and all the crazy stuff that we do, because we're not afraid. And I think it's why we've been successful.
The power of yes.
Yeah, the power of yes. We should have her on the show. So that's why we thought our podcast is going to be a little bit different. We have several colleagues in the industry that we respect immensely that already have podcasts, and we think their shows are fantastic. They do a lot of interviewing of industry professionals, and like we said, we've been on several of them. And but ours is going to be a little bit different, really, just because there's already two of us, and we have a lot to say. We travel a lot, like Joann mentioned earlier. We're always kind of looking for something fun to do, because I don't know. Like, do we get bored often?
We meet so many great people at events. For an example, we have a great friend who's in Chicago, Julia Buckingham. One of our clients, who's an Atlanta client, was purchasing a condo in Chicago and asked if we'd be willing to help her design it. We were like, sure. So she said, I'm going to start looking. Well, she called us a month later. She said, I found something already. Can you go? We're like, sure. Well, we don't have any connections in Chicago. Who are we going to get to, receive our stuff? Who are we going to get to move it? We need an installer. We need all of these things.
Paint, electricians.
So sure enough, Julia's there. Kelly calls. Within 15 minutes, she had given us all of her contacts. So, we would have never met her had we not go to a lot of these industry events. So, you go to learn different things, but you also get some great connections and networking with people that you'll help in return, and they can help you.
So those are going to be a lot of the things that we talk about. For example, next week we're going to be talking about the kitchen and bath show that we just went to in Orlando, and everything that we learned there while we were on a blog tour with Modenas and Veronica Miller. And then on the week after that, we head over to Nashville to go to the Antique and Garden Show. We're so psyched because we have, again, more designer friends that we know in Nashville that we've met along the way, and can't wait to see them. So anyway, so Joann's going to talk a little bit about our upcoming sessions that we're going to have.
It's going to be very, very different. Not every week is going to be the same. Not one week one week we'll be talking about why and how to hire an interior designer. That'll be a great show, because a lot of people are very intimidated by that. But you will see that hiring a designer
is the smartest thing you could ever do.
We'll talk about trends. I mean, we'll talk about the colors of the year. There's different companies that choose that, they determine their color of the year, which is Pantone, Sherwin-Williams, Benmore. And then we'll also talk about how we've used these colors in our designs and what are the, what colors look really good with others. We'll be talking about our beach house design, reviewing the Hilton Head and Kiowa projects. That is something a little different for us. We've had on our vision board for about 10 years that we've wanted to do a beach house. And what is so funny is both of them came right around the same time. So we'll give you all of the scoop on that. Another topic we'll have is how to buy a sofa. It's unbelievable. I don't think most people really realize all that's involved and where you need to spend your money. We'll talk a lot about high-low design, where you need to put your investments in. And then we'll just do some recurring topics like a design challenge or a client of the week, maybe a nightmare client of the week.
They do come around, unfortunately. We won't name names.
They'll know who they are. No,
yeah. Hopefully they won't be listening.
But it's going to be a lot of just kind of design talk, and our we'll talk a little bit about our office and how we run it. Designers sometimes are known as being very artsy and kind of flighty, but Kelly and I, as we told you, had business lives before this, so we may have an artsy design side, but we also have a business side, and I think that's what's really helped us in our work as well, because we
there ain't no drama here.
Yeah, there's no drama in our office. And just as far as talking about how things aligned and how they happen. Basically, if you just work hard and do your job, good things will come.
It's true. Keep your nose clean, people.
Just keep your nose clean. Just work hard, and then, something that happened 3 years ago will just pop out of nowhere. And it was like, that's why we were meant to meet that person. So I think a lot of our success has been saying yes, being nice people.
True.
Being honest, and really, the biggest one, working really hard.
Yeah. So we thought, like I talked about before, we are kind of totally enthralled with the whole idea of karma and how this life has come to be for us, and we're always looking for inspiration and motivation from the world around us. And so we thought we'd close every one of our shows with a quote, just to kind of keep you thinking. And we're always looking for good ones. So,
but before we do that, we want to talk about, on our website, there's going to be a podcast tab.
Yes.
And we will have something on there where you can click it and ask questions.
So you can, it'll come right to us. We'll use it for future show material, but ask us questions. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Nothing is a stupid question. If you want to ask us, I hear gray is the latest thing. Is it a trend that's going to stick around? Or, how do I want to go to High Point Market, but it's totally intimidating. Can you please talk about how to navigate High Point? Anything is open. So it'll be on our website here in just a few days. And when you click on the podcast tab at the top of our website, you'll see it'll show the episodes that are starting to align, and then we'll have that.
Yeah. And when you're on the website, along the top, you'll see our press page, which we're really proud of, because we've been really lucky to have quite a few projects
nationally and regionally published.
Yeah. So check that out. And then here is our quote to end this one. And it is, at a certain point in your career, they do not pay you for what you do. They pay you for what you know.
Will that make us millionaires one day?
No.
Because we know a lot. We're not millionaires yet, but okay. Well, we'll keep working on that. So just chomp on that for a little bit. And we are just so thankful that you guys tuned in to our very first podcast. Hopefully you weren't bored. And next week we will be talking about the Kitchen and Bath show in Orlando that we just went to, and all the cool stuff that we saw there. So in the meantime, just to reiterate, please check us out on our website, www.kandrac-kole.com, follow us on Facebook, Kandrac and Kole Interior Designs, and on Instagram, we're Kandrac Kole. And you'll find us on all the rest, Pinterest, LinkedIn.
Houses, we're big fans of House. I think it's a great tool for people that have a tough time explaining what they like and what they don't like. And there's so many beautiful photographs, and you can really get very specific about what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a family room with a gray sofa, you'll get a bunch of images that are really beautiful. So
And when our portfolio's on there, and we've got, how many now? 49 or something, 5-star reviews. So check us out on there. So that's how you can keep up with us, guys. And we will be chatting with you next week about our trip to Orlando. Thanks for listening.
Join Joann and Kelly weekly for a lively conversation about trends, travels to industry events, current design projects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, do's and don'ts, product recommendations, and more. Be sure to follow the fun on Facebook. They're on Instagram at Kandrac Kole, and of course, you've got to visit them online at kandrac-kole.com for more information.